So how are we doing, guys? And by the way, because I don't know, what your schedules are like, I don't know how all of this stuff has upended, your lives in terms of work schedules or family responsibilities or whatever. So I don't know where you are in the sort of in the process of practicing, right? But do you have questions about any of the chapter 6 exercises from the textbook? Don't forget, if you're having trouble with any of the exercises in the textbook, not only do we have the U-Triads, I want to say that somebody had mentioned that the U-Triads were really helpful. Indeed, they are, because oftentimes they will walk you through um, a partially completed proof, and that kind of gives you a sense of how the whole hangs together, right? So work the U-Triads, but then also let me alert you to, where is it? Here we go. Hold on just a sec. Make this a little smaller, just push it over here for now. I also want to let you know that there is additional practice for us. So bear with me. So if you scroll down to our class resources module under the additional practice link, you'll find basically a series of exercises. There are proof completion exercises where the proof is laid out for you. You're filling in the blanks. I'll show you what that looks like if you haven't looked already. And then there are additional exercises where you are constructing and completing the proof, which involves employing the strategic thinking that we've been developing. So if I'm just going to open this in the inline view, you'll see, right, exercises where the proof is constructed, you complete it. And you can, if you want, use Fitch to build a given exercise. Alternatively, you can, print, if you have the option to print out, or you can just handwrite the thing and complete it that way. So just to see how things are going on this front, what if we take this first exercise? I won't obviously do all of them, because then you'll then you'll want arguably more practice, right? But so here's the first exercise. Suppose I have the sentence. Let me make the font a bit bigger here. A and B or C. Add a new premise, which is Command or Control R. You can also go to the drop down menu if you want. Then I have, it's not the case that C, and what I want, so I'm going to insert the goal, insert a new goal. I want the sentence, therefore A, conjunction B. So let's think about our strategies. We know, if we look at our rule sheet, right, that we can work disjunction elimination, we can work negation intro, but the way that the argument is set up, if memory serves, is by way of disjunction elim. So I'm going to lay out the derivation, and then let's see if you have any questions about how to proceed. So in that proof completion exercise set, we have the following. We assume the left side of the disjunction, and what we want is A conjunction B, get out of that first disjunction elimination sequence, move on to the next, so that we can exit the subproof and say, therefore, A conjunction B. So when you're working a proof completion exercise, so really quick, let me come back over here. So this is our proof complete additional practice from chapter 6. When you're working a proof completion exercise, what you want to think about doing is having at the ready your rule sheet, right? So whether it's the sort of shorthand rule sheet that I've given you, and that you're looking at right now on my desktop, or you're on page, what is it, 557, right? You want to have your rule sheet with you. That's your best friend. Next thing you want to think about doing is looking. So when you think about it this way, you've got this proof that's completed for you. You want to understand what you're looking at in terms of the following sequence. You see that you have an indented sequence. The indented sequence is the subproof from lines 3 to 4. And then notice also that this indented sequence from 5 to 7 is on the same line. It's on the same vertical. It's not a further indentation. So you look over at your rule sheet and you say, hey, I've got 2 indented sequences that are on the same line. Negation intro has just the 1 indented sequence. So you say, okay, it looks like I've got disjunction elimination. So which disjunction am I eliminating? Well, it's line 1, right? So here's line 1, here's your disjunction elim sequence, then 3 to 4, 5 to 7. So if you're not sure that you've identified the right strategy, go ahead and check, and yay, you get the check mark. So let Fitch work for you. All right, now I'm going to ask you, what's happening from 3 to 4? So where did we get line 4? What rule justifies it? And you might say, but Mia, I don't see the rule here. Well, if you scroll on down, look, I've got the other rules that we've either used way back in chapter 2, and then some rules that we haven't looked at yet. We're going to start looking at them this week. Do you see that we've reiterated line 3 at line 4? And is everybody comfortable with why? I'm going to take silence as approval. All right, talk to me. How did we get from, rephrase, how did we get to line 6?
Would that be from line 2?
Beautiful. Line 2 is that, actually, sorry, forgive me. Hold on for just a second. I'm pulling up our, okay. Yeah, so Chloe, just to confirm, yes, line 2. Let me ask you this. What rule are you thinking of for line 6?
I have no idea.
Okay, I think you do have an idea. Let's back up. So if memory served, I asked you the following question. Hey, where did we get line 6? And you said line 2. And I said, cool, good, or something like that. Why are you thinking line 2? What's going on with line 2?
It negates C.
Beautiful. So you let's just slowly walk through your thinking. You see this symbol. It's a contradiction symbol. It basically says, sorry, something happened on my end, so I got distracted. It basically says that there is some sentence P and not P. In other words, we've got a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So let's say what you just said, not C, contradicts C, right? So we assert both. Now let's look at our rule. Contradiction intro says that some statement and its negation, or the negation of a statement and its affirmation is a contradiction, right? So your instincts are really, really good. And I propose to you that it's not even really your instinct. You're thinking so fast, we just want to slow it down and document your thinking. All right.
Okay.
How are we doing with that? Pretty good. Should we go ahead and check it? Yay. Okay. How about or how about line 7? What do you guys think? And let me offer you this. Is it fair to say that in setting up the disjunction of line 1 at 3 and then again at 5, we're using line 1? Is it also the case that we used line 3 and then notice at line 6 we used 2 and 5? So is it fair to say that so far we've used every line that's been given, that we've assumed or has been derived? So that means then that the one line we haven't yet used is line 6. So that's another way for you to think about your derivations. You will always use every line that's been given to you, that you have assumed, that you have derived. And you either cite every individual line or it's part of a subproof sequence. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Look at line 6 and 7. Now cast your eyeballs over to the rule sheet and tell me where you find a rule that you can map on to line 6 and 7.
Contradiction elimination.
Beautiful. And then we check everything and yay, we're right. Okay, so for anyone feeling kind of overwhelmed and a bit lost, I hope that you feel better knowing that we're in a closed system. In other words, think of what we're doing in part anyway as like playing a game. Where you've got, the board, if you will, and you've got the players, you've got the rules, and it's a matter of working the game by employing the rules, right? So we've been working a game that involves individual sentences. Those sentences are atomic or compound. And when we've got a given configuration, right? So here's the for this example, here's the current configuration of the game. You then say, okay, how do I use these game rules to help me along, right? So don't feel like this is just like an abyss of possibilities. It's a pretty small world, as it were. Thoughts?